Welcome back. A newly discovered comet, green comet, has made its closest approach to Earth. Astronomers have discovered that the green comet is approaching the Earth for the first time in 50,000 years. This is said to be a more rare astronomical event that it is believed we could be the last humans to ever see the green comet hurtling past Earth from the outer reaches of the solar system. We're now joined via Zoom by astronomer Professor David Block to weigh in on this big and interesting astronomical event. A very good afternoon to you, Prof. Thank you very much for joining us here on SABC News.
It's always a pleasure to encourage people around South Africa and the world to look up Flo.
Yeah, I mean, I have a very limited knowledge on astronomy, so maybe my questions might be a bit too basic for you this afternoon. But explain to us, what is this green comet and what is it made of, and the importance of what's happening at this time?
Well, of course, it's quite extraordinary, that this comet was discovered. It comes from the very outer echelons of our solar system, the Oort cloud and the Kuiper belt. It took, imagine this, it took around 50,000 years to reach the environs of the sun and of the Earth. So it's quite extraordinary. I think what's also very interesting about this is it's green, as your listeners can see.
Yeah.
It's a vibrant green color, which is, comets are really dirty snowballs, Flo, of ice mixed with dust. That's what a comet is. It's like a dirty snowball. When the dirty snowball comes into the vicinity of our sun, the ice starts melting. And that's what creates long, long tails. But the green is a very interesting giveaway. You're looking at diatomic carbon and cyanogen. These comets often contain the most exotic recipes of different compounds. And I think it's extraordinary to think that when it was last seen around in our environs, the Neanderthals were alive around some 50,000 years ago. And now we're having a grand peek at it yet again with some of the world's greatest and most modern telescopes. It's just so exciting to be looking at.
We're hearing that we could be the last human beings to ever, see the green comet sort of hurtling past Earth. How come? How's that? I mean, I heard you saying that, it has been seen before, but obviously in some other age, past age. Why would we be the last to see it?
Flo, nobody really knows how long we've got on the planet Earth before climate change really wreaks havoc, right?
Yeah.
Nobody knows. I mean, there's this huge talk of the quarter degree and so on. But just think what has happened in the last 100 years, how we've gone from from the earlier times, Industrial Revolution, to now where some people can hardly see the moon. I was speaking to someone, reading about someone in China who's never had the opportunity to see the moon. And that's light pollution in a period of 60 to 80 years. 50,000 years is a very long time. And whether we'll still have a sustainable atmosphere in terms of the pollution which we're pumping out into the atmosphere in 50,000 years' time, I really can't say. If you just look at what's happened from the ox wagon in the 1800s to now, and the difference in light pollution, I can tell you as a professor of astronomy, is absolutely mind-blowing. And that's why we echo this kind of warming. It may be the last.
I mean, you've touched on it there briefly, but let's talk about, the effects of climate change on astronomy. The patterns that you've kind of picked up on over the years of studying astronomy, things that, you would expect to see, but you'd no longer see, or things that are very significant that, maybe we should be paying attention to.
That's a wonderful question, Flo. And when I grew up as a youngster in Krugersdorp, the gold mining town in Krugersdorp, now Mogale City, we could see so much. I could see Jupiter, I could see Saturn, I could see the Milky Way, I could even look at the birth of baby stars in the constellation of Orion, like Messier 42. Now the light pollution is so bad that I have to either travel to the world's most remote locales in desert areas like in Chile, or I've just been in Hawaii, where you've got almost zero light pollution. But I would say there are billions of people today who've never ever seen the grandeur of the Milky Way. And that's devastating to me. And that's over the last 20 to 30 years. There's so much light pollution that we're lucky. Many people are lucky if they can just see Venus and the full moon, for example. It's extraordinary. And so I use a lot of data flow from space telescopes so that we can, such as the James Webb, so that we can actually, get away from polluting our atmosphere. And that comes back to your question. We are polluting our atmosphere so much, not only by means of chemicals, but by means of light pollution, that we cannot see the grandeur of the night sky. It is rare today for somebody to actually come to me and say, Prof, I've actually had a glorious view of the Via Lactea or our Milky Way. And yet that's how I grew up, Flo. Yeah. I grew up looking up in wonder and seeing all these objects. Do you agree with me that the night sky is so terribly polluted?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly do remember us talking about the Milky Way in my younger days. So it's quite sad to hear that people are no longer able to see that. But coming back to the green comet, there's quite something being made about the trajectory, that it's traveling. Why is this so important to astronomy? Is there some kind of meaning to that?
It's not so much the trajectory, I suppose, because trajectories in comets are common. I mean, each comet has its own kind of trajectory. Yeah. It's not in direct collision with the Earth. I think the important thing for your listeners to know is this. When is the best time to see the comet? Because it's been preferentially in the northern hemisphere. And what's very interesting is that about from, say, February 12, somewhere around there, 10, 12, 14, 16, just to take a pair of binoculars and look northwards towards the planet Mars. Now, you can't miss the planet Mars facing north. It's a beautiful, bright, reddish kind of planet. And you look northward, the green comet will be in its vicinity around, February 12, 14, 16, somewhere around there. So I think that comets simply attract astronomers' attention so much, not because of trajectory, but because they carry pristine material flow, the stuff of which you and I are made. Don't you think it's incredible to think that flow is made of carbon-based stardust? Comets, in other words, are not polluted. Comets are not polluted. They carry the very pristine chemical elements which were there in the creation of our solar system flow around 4.5 billion years ago. And that's why we're really so excited. They really are pristine, uncontaminated chemical facts.
Well, Prof, we really appreciate this fascinating conversation. And I think you might have given, lovers who celebrate the 14th of February a good idea as you kind of go out in the night sky. And there'll be something maybe there for them to take a look at. Thanks so much, Prof. We appreciate it.
Flo, always a joy. Thank you so much, and always look up.
You're welcome. That is Professor there, Professor David Block. He's an astronomer talking to us about the newly discovered comet, the green comet that has made its closest approach to Earth. So from around the 12th to 14th of February, you can certainly, as he likes to put it there, look up.